Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hivemind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. And the Phony of the Year award goes to, you guessed it, phony Kamala Harris. What is up with these elitist Democrats? We very often talk about identity politics, and it's honestly truly evil how these elitist Dems use ideas and concepts of race in a way to benefit them. They manipulate and use very sensitive topics in order to attack directly the sensibility of Americans in a truly sociopathic manner. And clearly, the worst offender of this exact idea is phony Kamala Harris, who's been playing both sides of the coin for how long? The tough prosecutor-in-chief, the tough on crime, locking up minority men to the tune of tens of thousands, while claiming to be a progressive and advocate for the exact men that she's going after. Democrats truly can have their cake and eat it too. But the absolute worst thing, the most condescending, patronizing, and clearly manipulative move that we see from these Democrats and Democrat elitists is the idea of pandering. It's basically the entire point of Kamala Harris's political existence. The only reason she's VP is to appeal to a specific type of voter who will vote based on immutable characteristics. And Kamala knows this, and that's why she always plays the game. And in the last week, we've got two examples of the most despicable, overt political pandering I think I've ever seen. And so we gotta expose this whole thing, guys. Today's topic, phony Kamala Harris. But before we get into any of it, please make sure to leave a like, a comment, subscribe, share the video as much as possible. We are still shadow banned by the YouTube algorithm, hidden from non-subscribed viewers. So share the video as much as possible to help us out. Make sure you're subbed with notifications on, and of course, support other independent political commentators out there, as YouTube is suppressing all of us to boost mainstream sources. Now with that out of the way, let's roll the tape. Alright friends, so we just had the video that we covered a couple weeks ago of Kamala Harris talking about celebrating Hanukkah and pretending as if she knew all about it and it was connected to her roots because of her husband, which honestly a lot of people criticized her for, but she's been married to the man for a while. I'm sure she celebrates Hanukkah every single year. It does in fact make sense. Kamala made that video. I guess the backlash wasn't too extreme, and so she said, let's one up this thing. Let's kick it up a notch.
Oh yeah, bam it again, Elzar. Knock it up another notch.
And let's go straight into this holiday pandering fiesta. Kamala Harris releases bizarre video claiming her family has celebrated Kwanzaa since her childhood. Check this out.
Like so many other holidays, we will be celebrating Kwanzaa a little differently this season in our home. We'll be doing it over Zoom. You know, my sister and I, we grew up celebrating Kwanzaa. Every year, our family and our extended family, we would gather around across multiple generations, and we'd tell stories. The kids would sit on the carpet, and the elders would sit in chairs, and we would light the candles, and of course afterwards have a beautiful meal.
Give me a break. Kwanzaa? Since her childhood? Kwanzaa wasn't even really popularized. It didn't really become mainstream probably till like the 90s. And I believe it was created in like the 1960s. She's never made any mention of Kwanzaa whatsoever in her entire political career, and all of a sudden she's been celebrating it for her entire family. Now, who remembers the time that Kamala Harris was using identity politics and her father, her own father, who's a Jamaican professor, literally called her out in public on her abhorrent use of identity politics? I believe it was after she was pandering about Biggie and Tupac and smoking reefer in college. What we need right now is Kamala's based professor father to come out and say, we never celebrated Kwanzaa. What are you even talking about? Did Kamala heed the message from her father and stop using race and identity politics and pandering as a means to attain more power? Of course not. She's constantly doing it. And I told you guys there's two specific events that happened over the last week. We all know the famous AOC speech where she magically just adopted a southern accent. We know the infamous moment of Hillary Clinton doing the exact same thing. And we know that Kamala's done it multiple times. Well, she did it again. Depending on who she's speaking to, she will change the way that she speaks in order to seem more relatable. Here she is in Columbus, Georgia, adopting some sort of southern drawl as she speaks to a crowd.
Are describing an inability or difficulty to pay rent. 1 in 4 small businesses in Georgia have gone out of business or are about to go out of business. And what we are here to talk about.
And like I told you guys, this isn't something new that Kamala's doing. She has a history of doing it across the nation depending on who she's speaking to. Check this out.
Because you see, Fayetteville, when we get this thing done on Tuesday, Joe Biden and I are about to get rid of that tax bill.
And we cannot forget. And we cannot forget. And in this fight, This is a fight not only to recognize our history and honor the ancestors and honor the heroes. It is a fight for our future.
Endless pandering in the most condescending manner. But the worst part is, it works. It works with the lowest of IQ and low information voters. And that's exactly who the Democrats are going for when they use these tactics. A lot of the times we criticize Democrats as being incompetent, but the fact is, it's almost a purposeful incompetence because it works. They use these tactics that actually work to get elected outside of the merit. Democrats don't get elected based on their track records. They don't get elected based on accomplishments and competence. They get elected based on emotion. They get elected based on the Democrat machine and the propaganda that they use to attack the heartstrings of Americans. It's why they constantly campaign targeting the downtrodden. Even though they're the party of the wealthy billionaire elite, they use tactics to somehow bring financially struggling Americans under the same roof as the billionaires who are swindling them. And you can't do that and be stupid at the same time. In fact, you kind of got to be an evil genius. That's what the Democrats do. The Democrat elitists pandering to the exact folk, the exact demographics that they are swindling through emotional manipulation. And it happens across the board. It's not just in politics, it's in Hollywood as well. It's why we constantly see stories like this. Hilaria Baldwin clarifies her real name is Hillary and she was born in Boston after accusations she was faking her Spanish heritage. Yes, I am a white girl. And Hilaria Baldwin is Alec Baldwin, the flaming lefty anti-Trump weirdo on TV, the actor, has been. That's his wife. She literally changed her name from Hillary to Hilaria. Is Hilaria even a name? Anything to get into the market of oppression, the market of identity politics. It's a racket, folks. It's the exact same thing that we saw from Elizabeth Warren. I mean, you just take one look at her face. She's pretty much as Scandinavian as you can possibly be. I'm white, but I'm more Mediterranean white, mixed in with some Macedonian from my Greek heritage and my Italian heritage. She is as white as a bar of soap. She's the egg without the yolk. But she actually had the audacity to write Native American on her birth certificate. My great-grandmother was Native American. I'm more Native American than she is, but I would never even consider being like 1/24th Native to ever write something or do something like that, manipulate race to my own benefit. It's absolutely disgusting, but the Democrats use it as a tool, and like I just said, it's absolutely disgusting, just like what they do with the whole pandemic. And once again, let's go to the Hollywood Democrat elite. Jennifer Aniston slammed over our first pandemic Christmas tree ornament as fans brand her out of touch amid COVID-19 crisis. Look at this picture. It's all about the gram. It's all about social media and getting clicks and likes. They talk a big game as if they're so sensitive to the issues, promote lockdowns while they live in their multi-million-dollar mansions in Los Angeles, completely out of touch with the realities of real suffering and real life, post pictures like this as if she's celebrating our first pandemic, as if it's our first baby. And these are the people that average Americans, low IQ, low information voters go to for political insight. It's a backwards world, folks, and it's an issue that I don't have any answers to. In conclusion, I'd love to sit here and say, here's how we fix this, but I don't know. These tactics are too strong. They just work. And of course, we know the cultural institutions of society are on board with the Democrat machine, and I just don't know how to compete with these disingenuous tactics. I guess all we can do is just keep telling the truth and keep calling out the liberal hypocrisy as we see it. But the problem is, we have limited reach, limited scope, and most people just don't want to hear it. But despite the uphill battle, we still will continue, of course, and hopefully at least 51% of the population can wake up. But that's also what I got for you guys on this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to leave a like, a comment, subscribe, share the video as much as possible. We are still shadow banned by the YouTube algorithm, hidden from non-subscribed viewers. Of course, the cultural institutions are controlled in a manner to suppress our voice. So share the video as much as possible, of course. Now I gotta get back to work because there's a whole lot of hypocrisy that must be exposed on a daily basis. I took a day and a half off for Christmas, and that's definitely way too much. As you know, liberal hypocrisy is a daily gig, so I'm gonna get back to that. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.